Hello, I am Krishnam Rastogi from Informatica GCS MDM team. In this video, we will learn about how to configure passwordless Windows authentication for MDM data sources. The agenda for today's video will be setting up the Windows user with the SQL Server, configuring the data sources and the drivers, and adding certain properties in the MDM properties file. The prerequisites for this will be to download the supported JDBC driver from the Microsoft's website. The hub server and the process server should be installed. The hub store, which includes the CMX system and the CMX ORS, must be installed with regular SQL Server native accounts. And the SSMS, that is the SQL Server Management Studio, must be present. Now, starting with the setting up Windows user with SQL Server, we need to start the SSMS, and under the security tab, we need to create a new login for the Windows user that we want to authenticate the data sources with. And for that user, we need to give the server roles as public and the sysadmin. And for the user mappings, we need to map it with the MDM related databases, such as the CMX system, CMX ORS, etc. And then we have to run this query to add this Windows user to the SQL JDBC XA user role. Now, coming on to the demo part, we have this SSMS opened, and under the securities logins tab, we need to create a new login. And then we need to search for our Windows user. In our case, I'm going to do it with the administrator account. So I'll search for this administrator, and I got this. And I'll choose the Windows authentication. And for the server roles, we'll be choosing the sysadmin and the public. And for the user mapping, we'll be mapping it with the AWOS, CMX ORS, CMX system, and this MDM sample databases. And you can map it to the others as well as per your configuration. And then we need to make sure that the login is enabled over here. Then click OK. We can see the user have been added. Now we need to run this query to add this user to this role. Now, to verify that this query ran successfully, we need to check the system databases, master, security, roles, database roles, and the SQL JDBC XA user role. Over here, we can see that this user have been already allotted this role. Then we'll click OK. Now, moving on to configuring the data sources. As we know, there are two types of data sources that are used in MDM, that is the XA and the non-XA. So for the changes in the XA data source, such as the CMX system and the ORS databases, we have to remove the security tab. And in place of that security tab, we need to add the XA data source property tag with the integrated security flag. And for the non-XA data source, we need to remove the security tag, and we need to add a parameter in the connect URL, that is the database name and the integrated security tag. So for that, we need to edit the standalone full.xml file, which is present in the JBoss standalone configuration. So over here, we'll be searching for data sources. And we can see the XA data sources here. And in this XA data source, we can see the security tag. Now we just need to remove the security tag. And in place of the security tag, we need to add the XA data source property. This. And similarly, we have to do it for all the XA data sources that we have. The CMX system is done. This was the CMX ORS and the MDM sample. Now, for the non-XA data source, that is the ActiveOS data source, we need to remove the security tag completely and then add two parameters over here. That is the database name and the integrated security flag. So in my case, the ActiveOS database name is AWOS, and I have set the integrated security flag as true. And then we have to save this file. Now, coming on to configuring the drivers, we just need to change the module of the ActiveOS driver from com.activeos to com.informatica.mdm.jdbc. For that, we'll be moving on to the drivers section over here. And instead of this com.activos, we will add this com.informatica.jdbc. That's it. Now, after doing all this configuration, we need to copy the SQL JDBC auth.dll file, which we get from the SQL JDBC drivers that we downloaded from the Microsoft's website. And we need to paste this file in the JBoss bin directory. And after that, we need to add the cmx.server.database.authentication.method equals to Windows authentication, this property, to the CMX server properties and the CMX cleanse properties file. And after adding these properties, we need to clear cache and restart the application server with the user that we used to configure the SQL server with. Now, coming on to the demo, I have extracted the SQL JDBC 4.2, which is supported with the 10.4 HF2 version. And under this, there's the auth folder and with 64-bit. We need to copy this file and we need to paste it in the JBoss bin directory. After that, we need to come to the infra MDM folder, hub, server, resources, cmx server.properties. And then we need to add a property, cmx at the end. The cmx server database authentication method equals to Windows authentication. And we need to do it for cmx server.properties as well as the cmx cleanse.properties as well. For that, we need to come to hub, cleanse, resources, cmx cleanse.properties, and add it over here. Now, after doing all these things, we'll be needing to restart the application server with the same user that we used to create the SQL authentication. And for that, we'll be going to the JBoss bin directory. And since I have created it with the administrator user, and I'm also logged into the administrator user, so I'll be just running the command over here and wait for all the ER files to deploy. After waiting a couple of minutes for the files to deploy, we can see, we can confirm it from here. Sorry, standalone deployments. All the ER files are deployed. Now we can connect to the CMX URL and download the hub console. Now we'll try to register any ORS, and ideally, as we have registered the SQL Server authentication, that is a Windows authentication, it should not ask for passwords. And since it is a mandatory field, we can give it any password. So for instance, we'll be removing this ORS from here as of now, and then we'll re-register it again. So I'm registering the CMX ORS again. CMX ORS, and that is the local host. And the password, I have not changed anything. It's just a dummy password. And we can see the database test connection has succeeded, and then finish. Without giving any password, we have bypassed the authentication because the authentication have been done at the Windows level. And we can also see this is passing test connection successfully. So this was all about our topic. There's also a written KB article. You can also refer to it. And this is the SQL JDBC driver, which you can find at the Microsoft's website. That's all about today's video. You can share your valuable feedback in the below links. Thank you.